Planco 2. We got our first weekend available to mess around with Planco 2. There's that lovely music that we all know. I just want to point out here this little sort of error. The servers are probably slammed, jammed. You got all this disconnected nonsense going on. I don't know any manual way to fix that, but you kind of just wait around. It eventually will let you log in, sign into your Frontier sign in. And this is what it'll look like once you actually do sign in, get the offline stuff to go away. So here's our lovely Planco 2. They got an awesome little menu here. Look at this little globe. Like you can, it spins on its own, but yeah, you can shake it around. Make those little crazies get all dizzy and concussed. Oh man, this is one of the coolest little menu features I've ever seen in a game. I mean, I can just sit here and listen to music and shake this little snow globe of little characters all day. Little touches like that, you know. Frontier, you guys, your heart comes through on your games when you do stuff like that. I mean, there's no need to do something like that, but it's a lot of fun. So, anyhow, you leave it alone, it spins on its own a little bit, but we got our first park here that we're just fiddling around with. We can go in here and take a look at the park. Here's your load screen. Just pointing this out and showing it because the loading for everything so far, at least, is so much quicker. Look at that. It's like 10 seconds, not even, to get into the park. And same with booting up the game. Super quick. I've just plopped down some things here and messing around. Not really doing anything yet, but just happy the loading is quick, and now you can play around with some pathing, the line cues, trying to make some back and forth lines. And here is how people get into the entrance of your park. They start out with those 3 buses in the semicircle, and I just started goofing around and messing with them. You can just duplicate these buses, kind of plop them where you want. The people will arrive at your park and start coming out of the buses. But yeah, you can move these things around. It'll just be a good little quirk to kind of mess with. And if you want to build, maybe put these things into like a car park or parking garage just to cover it up, and then the guests can start walking into whatever entrance you want to build for your park. So this is the first coaster that I built just from scratch. I have no plans for this, no plans for a park with this right now. I'm just playing around with the coaster builder. That was the whole point of this. In the background, there's one of the blueprints that they had. I fiddled around and tweaked that blueprint, but this wooden one is 100% custom. I wanted to point out, like right here, this is where some of the ease and quality of life thing comes in with building these coasters. And I haven't seen anyone touch on this like in great detail, but I mean, there's a lot of creators giving some awesome tutorial videos. But right here, there's I'm just gonna move the track over because this is too close to the station, right? So guests coming through would be kind of maybe not bumping their head, but certainly if this is realistic, you know, and I'm not certainly a realistic builder. I'm much more fantasy than realistic. But if people stuck their arms out, they'd whack them on the station there. So we want to move this over a little bit so people don't have the opportunity to stick their arms out and lose a limb. So there's these little nodes for each piece of track. It's pretty easy to come in and grab them. It's not like significantly different than the first game, but it's still pretty user friendly. And then what I want to point out is like the smoothing tool. A lot of this there's a 4-meter method from Planco version 1 that a lot of people used, and it's very manual, it's very time consuming, but it is the best way to get the smoothest coaster. And especially if you download, put in one of those programs. But in Planco 2 here, it really put that in for you. So I'm just sliding this over. I've gone through and I built the coaster for the most part with the smallest pieces possible, which again, it's a little time consuming, but it's not crazy by any means. But going through and smoothing was always super time consuming after. And here you'll see once I move this over, you grab 4 pieces, you hit the smooth button. I mean, you can do it however you want, but this is how I've done it, and similar to the 4-meter method from Planco 1, once you grab 4 of these, you move it forward or backwards, and you go. Alright, so now we're just taking a look. Is it far enough over? Yeah, that's plenty far enough over. We look like we got plenty of clearance here. We've shifted it over, and at this point then we're going to transition to the smoothing. Alright, so here's your example. Grab 1, 2, 3. We got 4 pieces grabbed right there. Alright, I haven't seen people play around or put some videos up on whether they're doing the smoothing strength at like 1, 5, 10. Alright, but you want to move this forward, and then also come back through and do a round going backwards. So every time you click it, now it's moving forward. One piece, one piece, one piece. It's got 4 pieces grabbed because that's what I selected, and then it's just going forward by 4 pieces, moving 1 length each time. Alright, but that's all you got to do is click it. Every time you click smooth, it moves forward by 1 piece. Alright, you switch it to backwards, and you can do the same thing for that segment. So you want to do this for your whole coaster once you're done. But in this point, what I'm just trying to demonstrate is a little section that I wanted to tweak because I'd moved the station, and that kind of created some chaos for me. But once I moved the station, then I wanted to play around with this section and move it so that these people aren't clunking into the station. And then, we'll go through and do some other tweaks to the track to just show you what it's like to move things around. Like this whole section right here that we're looking at. All right, we got it clear from the station. That's perfect. No one's reaching out and grabbing a piece of wood and losing a finger or a hand or a whole arm. But now this whole segment here to me is just too straight. We're just going in a straight line. So what I want to do is clean some of this up, get a tree out of our way. Then we come over here, we got to tweak some hills. We got to make them a little lower, a little higher. We want the right amount of airtime. We want the right amount of curves. We don't want people getting too nauseous, throwing up all over our park. People are rude like that. They just throw up wherever they want if you just don't give them the right type of coaster. I mean, you put them on Velocicoaster, who knew? They're going to get sick when riding Velocicoaster, but this is not Velocicoaster, right? So we want to balance things out here, smooth it out, give them something they're going to live through, not come off concussed like those little guys on the main menu that I shook around. I'm not trying to do that with this coaster. I'm just trying to give us a nice, smooth, but fun, traditional wooden coaster type of feel, right? So we take out some of these curves, same thing. You can come back there and just play with this. It's very user-friendly. Use that smoothing tool. Use it. Use it. Fun little feature, again, Frontier just coming through, doing their thing. You blow up the train, you get a fun little fireworks show and sound effect. I mean, listen, these guys have fun when they make a game, and it makes the game so much more fun for us that the creators sit there and have fun while they're making it. I mean, little touches like that, I appreciate it so much. I mean, it really does change the whole mood and feel. Like when you crash your train and you get a little fireworks show because you threw a train off the tracks and it exploded. I mean, yeah, that's just fun. But yeah, this is what we're doing. It's just so much easier right now to just come through. This all existed, like little things like this existed in Planco 1, but it just didn't come through like this. I mean, look at this. It's already pretty smooth, but then once you just click the button for smoothing, you do a pass through forward and another pass through backwards, and you're pretty much done. I mean, this is the method I've adopted for it. With once you move it around, and then once you start doing the smoothing, you grab the 4 pieces at a time. I'm keeping it at 5 on the smoothing strength. I'm sure people will come through with some tutorials and have a better testing idea of whether it's working with a lighter level of smooth. I think a heavy smooth is probably going to give you problems as far as like you might lose some of your hills or some of your banking. But I think for me so far, I've been using 5 and 4, and it's been working pretty well to give me generally a smooth ride. Pretty much the final run through here. I mean, we smoothed it out, we moved it away from the platform, so our station doesn't have the people running along the track bumping their arms on the station as they go by. We added some more twists. It's not really a straight line anymore, so we got some zigging and zagging, and we finished up our coaster, and we are happy with that final run there. All right, but again, that's just a testing ground. Again, let me know what you guys think, your experience, how you're using the smoothing tool, how your coaster builds are going. Hope you're having fun. So we'll start on the next one, maybe giving some updates and ideas on the actual sandbox park that I want to start building after I'm done playing around with all these pieces, figuring out what the heck I'm doing. learn where things are. But yeah, looking forward to building a sandbox and just build my first big creation. I've got a pretty good idea, like I mentioned before, with some elves, a little elven land, and some steampunk thing. But just to generally round this out, I wanted to show you the steel coaster that I did in the background, where I just kind of tweaked the ending here. I used basically that same 4-meter smoothing method, used the smallest pieces available, manually created a 0G roll here at the end, and then just went through and did the 4-piece smoothing, and it came out pretty darn good, as well as these last few turns, that 4 pieces at a time smoothing, forward, backwards, works like a charm. I'll be looking in the workshop if anyone's got anything, some fantasy things and some steampunk things that I can steal. I will definitely be using those for my park, and appreciate everyone that's adding things in there to the community. Try and bring those into my park and make something, you know, come to life. All right, but catch you guys soon. Have fun. Make sure you shake the globe on your way out. Later, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.